Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody, to the Kentucky Public Pension Authority Executive Director Search Committee special meeting. It's October 27th, 2023. Call the meeting to order. Can we have the opening statement, Ms. Hale?
Yes, sir. For the record, I want to note that this is a special called meeting of the Executive Director Search Committee of the Kentucky Public Pensions Authority. This meeting is being held at the Kentucky Public Pensions Authority offices located at 1260 Louisville Road, Frankfort, Kentucky, and by video and telephonic conference, and is being broadcast to the public by Facebook pursuant to Kentucky Revised Statutes, Section 61.826. I ask if you are speaking and not appearing by video, please identify yourself before talking. In the event this meeting becomes disconnected from Facebook, we will attempt to reestablish a connection. If a connection cannot be reestablished within 30 minutes, the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled to another date.
Thank you. Ms. Rankin, can you do roll call for us, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. O'Mara?
Here.
Ms. Hampton? Here. Mr. Piercy?
Here.
And Ms. Pendergrass?
Here.
Thank you.
And Ms. Rankin, do we have any public comment?
Yes, sir. We did receive two public comments. The first one comes from Janice Sexton, and she writes, I really could use a COLA on my retirement. I am barely making ends meet, hardly can afford grocery every month. I don't even make $25,000 a year. I would like to see the legislature live on that. I gave 30 years to the state. My husband is disabled and can't work. We had to get so much debt to make it through. Thank you. The second one is from Larry Totten, and he writes as follows. Having read the tentative qualifications for the KPPA Executive Director position, and unless I overlooked it mentioned, I was struck by the lack of reference to the successful candidate having investment experience and or public pension experience. If I missed that, my apologies. I think part of Mr. Eager's success was that he understood the world of investments and its importance to the successful operation of pension plans. This experience gives him the air of credibility when talking to those outside KPPA, the media, but especially legislators. I would assume that this type of experience would show up in resumes, but shouldn't it be mentioned on the front end? Thank you.
All right. Thank you for those comments. The next agenda item is approval of minutes for the October 19th meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second? All right, having a motion and a second. Any discussion, corrections, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. All right, next we go to the Executive Director Search discussions. And first I wanted to thank a lot of people that worked very hard to get all this data to us for today's reference, especially those people in human resources, communications, and the executive office. I just wanted to say thank you for all your hard work, as well as the comments we received from fellow executives and other board members. So all of that was very much appreciated. What I would like to do is if we could go to 6.5. And first talk about the recruiting sources and have a discussion of the information that they were able to put together for us, which ones we thought would be good to use. Any comments? Any thoughts from anyone?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but I can't get my camera to work, but I am here. I guess I think in general, the more the better. I look at the pension, the association, the Pension Attorneys Association, you think, I wonder why they're, well, there are attorneys who are probably capable of being the executive director. We've had them in the past, or they know somebody. I didn't see any that I would exclude. I don't have a vote, but that would be my view.
Oh, we welcome your comments.
The one I
Anyone
guess
else?
sorry, I'm not on mute. The one that I thought needed some discussion is pension and investment. It is the very last one and the most expensive. But I think if we want to go out of the government world at all, that's the one to go to. Thoughts because of the cost of it?
Yeah, I agree. It's widely read. They've got a print capability and they've got online. Unfortunately, I was talking with Lori about 15 minutes before the meeting. I was showing her holding up pensions and investments with a 2x4 ad, which is, in my opinion, amply large. And this one happens to be Illinois State Board of Investments. And then they have a listing of about 10 or 12 positions online that's listed in the print edition, and the reference to the title and who's advertising for it and what time it was, when it was posted. But it leads people to their online capability that if they're just reading the print.
Betty or Keith, you all have anything to add?
I like all of them, and yes, the pension and investments is a little pricey, but given the importance of the position that we're hiring, I'm not so sure that a $2,300 or $2,700 or I'm not sure exactly where. Oh, the option one rate depends on how large your ad is. I think those would be good investments in the process. And I agree that we need somebody that's got public experience more so than private. We have to have somebody that understands the complexities of dealing with the General Assembly and some of the government regulations that we have to follow. So I think that's important. But if we include that information in our ad, then I think it clarifies.
Betty, that's one I would disagree on. I think Dave didn't have any public experience. I'm not sure about people before Dave, but
Dave was a board member.
yeah, but he
So
didn't have any.
He had some public experience because he was on public board.
Okay. Never thought about that as counting as work experience.
No,
but okay.
I get what you're saying, but I mean, he was known to us because he was actually a board member.
Yeah. But anyway, I would not, if somebody is qualified and has run, maybe even, I can't think of examples like maybe a hospital investment activities and things, because I look at the service end of what we do as equally important, if not more important, than the investment area. Investments are very, very important, and we can find people that do investments, but taking care of our however many retirees, I think, is a tough job.
Well, I had, we'll come back to pension investments in a moment if we could, but I'd like to discuss LinkedIn. I'm not a Gen X or whatever the correct generation is, but one of the many criticisms I've heard from some of these type of recruiting is you get hundreds of people that aren't qualified answering your ad. So I was wondering if Lori or someone who had experience using LinkedIn could comment on whether we would be awash with not necessarily quality candidates by using LinkedIn or not.
Yeah, I can speak to that. The LinkedIn version that we use, and we've had some successful recruitment with just, not executive level positions, but we have a recruiter's license through the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and we can do targeted searching. So I can go in and put in qualifications and search for candidates that way, and then reach out to them specifically. And I can even pull their information and share that before we even reach out, instead of just doing a wide reach. And that might help keep that reined in a little bit.
Did we use that option for the CFO?
We
search?
did, yes. Yeah, we pretty much use it for any position. It's free. It does have a pretty, we have access to any candidate that does have a LinkedIn profile loaded.
Okay.
It takes some time, but we have resources and we have support from LinkedIn themselves, actually.
Do you know where Mike found the information about KPPA?
I am not sure, and I thought about that this morning. We need to ask him.
Yeah.
Well, that's good and educational for someone with my lack of experience in the media or the online world. Well, then I think what I'm hearing is that we're all good with this list that staff has put together. I think the only remaining request or decision is what option of the many to try to strive for in pension investments. So Lori, do you have a suggestion that you think is for us to concentrate on here?
Originally, I had thought maybe the digital and email would be enough, but I talked to Mr. Eager this morning, and he showed me the print copy of the ad, and it actually looks really nice. So, and I think I'm not sure how often that goes out, but I think the ad size that he showed me was a 2x4, and it was definitely large enough to capture somebody's attention. So I think that would be a good place to start.
It's published
And how
every
often is the print ad?
every 2 weeks.
Okay.
They
So
also-
we would get one ad under option one.
Yes. It would run more than once, though. It says one print ad and pensions and investments in the career section, right? And then in that ad that Mr. Eager showed me, so it's kind of in the center of the page, and then it lists the jobs over to the left as well.
Mm-hmm.
Up for 60 days. Is that correct?
It's
Yeah,
posted
I
for
think
60 days, but you get one printed ad.
They also show P&I Daily, which comes out every day, and it'll be a reference to the position there for, say, 10 days.
Right.
So the online version is the 60 days.
Yes.
Gotcha.
It's got a great audience.
So that would be in 3351. Is that what you're thinking? It has 2 and it has 4, but it doesn't have 2x4. So
Right. Yeah. I
something
think
in
that's
that
gonna be
range.
the 4-inch. Right.
Right. Well, this is I feel like we're doing the right thing here. I'm just wanting a budgetary question as to whether we can spend the dollars within our budget. And I would think at $3,350 that I don't believe we're violating any of our budgetary guidelines. Anyone have thoughts on if we need to make any steps to have approval, or whether we're good to go forward with that at 3350?
If you all agree that's what you want to do, we'll make sure that if there's approval required, we'll come back. Is that all right, Laurie? I can't imagine we can't.
Yeah. I don't know of any issue. We've used it before. for
Yeah.
other positions, for the CFO.
All right, well then, if it's the will of the group, we'll go forward with all of these listings and going with 3350 range for pension investments.
I think it's a good investment.
Mhm.
All right, good. All right, well then, let's
Mr. O'Mara, can I maybe just one clarification on that one? Did you also want for P&I option number 2 for the digital and email? I believe, and Lori, correct me if I'm wrong, that would be an additional 2346.
Well, I thought we were getting it with option 1 as well.
Yeah, option 1 says print, digital, and email, and it has the same exact list as option 2, except
my-
that it
my
includes
understanding
one print
is-
ad.
That's right. That's my understanding as well.
But I'm fine with saying that we're wanting the digital and print. So whatever they come back as the cost, we would think it would be reasonable at a 4-inch option 1 rate, and then go and see if there's any additional, then come back and tell us that there's additional. Does that sound all right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, if we could go then to section 6.3. Now this might be difficult to read. It was for me. It's very faint, but it's a summary of NC PERS compensation survey results, which includes the executive director based on size of assets under management. There's good reference, and I didn't know. I thought it was a good point of reference for us to have some sort of expectation of what compensation would be expected from our applicants. And I know there was a discussion saying that you get a better response if you say what your salary expectations are in the posting. So I thought we ought to have a conversation of whether we wanted to do that.
Is Sherry
first.
running this, Bill?
Excuse me?
Is Sherry running the screen?
Yes.
Keep going, Sherry. This is all plans, including teeny ones. You want to get down to you go further, and there's by asset category. Keep going. Keep going. All right. Yeah, right there. $10 to $50 billion. 274,991 is the median, or it's median or average. Let's see what it says. Average. So that'll be my experience on these things. The median will be somewhat lower than that. The average gets pulled up by outliers on the top, but that's a better comparison, I think.
I think the median is there.
Oh no, the median is actually higher. Yeah. No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's 264.
Yeah.
So do we want to include a salary range in our posting is the question first.
Look, my 2 cents on this is I'm fine with doing a salary range, but look, we just took a vote 6 months ago to raise the salary up to the highest it's ever been. I don't see the logic of going even higher than that now. And we did that, raised it up for somebody who's been in the job for 6 or 7 years and has demonstrated performance. So I'm not really, I know what these numbers say, but these numbers have said that for a long time and we've never paid that. And I don't have the appetite to pay that now. The job pays $228. I think we'll get plenty of people interested at that salary.
But as Keith, I'm on the same page you are. I was thinking using the word competitive salary, but you might, depending. And Dave, is your salary public information?
Yes.
Okay.
They're all
To
state
make-
employees. Yeah.
Okay. Would it be unreasonable to say the position as a competitive salary, the current executive director is paid $224? Yeah. Something like that?
228, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
228.
Yeah.
The other thing that Bill asked for, and we always get asked about, well, what's teachers doing? Well, Gary Harbin is at 248 plus. And we jokingly said yesterday, if you pay this person 250, in a blink of an eye, Gary Harbin will be making 260. But that is a perspective, another state agency, but he's got a lot of experience. On the one hand, warrants a higher compensation. On the other hand, there's only 100 employees, not 250. It's a more complex agency, but
They have hospitalization of teachers, health insurance.
retiree health, yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
It might be helpful to include a range. I'm not sure that we want to hire a new person at the same rate that we're paying David. So we might leave ourselves a little bit of flexibility in terms of a range that starts lower than his and maybe goes a touch higher.
Yeah.
Might be an option.
My last sense is that you might have 3 internal candidates that would like to throw their hat in the ring. That may have changed. You know, we get sued by the day and everything else. And 228 or something over 200 would be a decent bump for them.
That's where I'm at. That's why I think, and I appreciate what Betty just said, because honestly, I'm more inclined, if this were put to a vote, to lower the salary for a new person than I am to go above Dave's salary, considering the experience he has. But yeah, I don't see bringing somebody in at a higher salary than what we're currently paying. First of all, what's that say to our current director, that we would just hire somebody new in making more money than he makes? I saw that happen once here at EKU, and it really made me scratch my head. A guy retired as president at one salary, and they brought the new guy in the very next day at like 60% more. And I thought, holy cow, he must really think, what did I do wrong?
Well, don't worry about me. I think I appreciate that, Keith, but don't worry about me. I think just if the right thing is to do that in the end, then you ought to do it. But but I understand. I understand. It also says to current staff, like, you know, wait a minute, this guy worked hard and you didn't get the reward he wanted. There's another thing you can do, but I don't want to muddy the water. But you have the ability to pay a bonus.
I'm not sure we do.
Yeah, personnel cabinet has told me, and the governor's office have told me, we can pay bonuses.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I come from an environment where there's a stack of attorney general opinions that says we cannot do that in the government sector in Kentucky.
I was amazed, and when they wrote that, I wrote them back and said, well, let me clarify this now. We can pay a cash, you know, effectively a cash bonus to an employee. The answer was yes.
I suspect that's because it's a contract employee. You can't do that with regular employees. And Lori's shaking her head. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. It's because it's contract.
Okay.
Yeah, I just thought the attorney general opinions all said you can only pay for services rendered, and bonus doesn't fit that definition. But I mean, I agree with Keith that I'm at this point not inclined to pay more than we are now. I'm just suggesting a range below and above, just because that gives us might give us some flexibility. Not necessarily that I would go to the top of that range to attract someone, but I agree with Keith's philosophy on that.
Well, let me play the contra to make sure the conversation covers all bases. The other thing we have to take into consideration is the market. And so one question, I guess, is what is the market looking like for this size a organization with these characteristics? You know, the NASRA is the only thing that we have to look at. Now, below, if you go down just a little bit, Sherry, are the reference points. So no, too far. I was looking at there, right there. So they're listing the amounts paid under each of the sections. So there's only 4 reference points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reference points for the 10 to 50 billion. Not a big population.
Hey, go on, Bill, if you don't mind, go to the NASRA data. They got a lot more data points.
Oh, they do? Okay.
But it's going to be equal to or higher than we're seeing here, but that's probably worth looking at.
I thought this was the NASRA.
No, this is NC PERS. NASRA, we have recent NASRA. When my contract came up, I asked NASRA to look at executive director compensation for the board, and when you go to that, you'll see they plotted the old compensation, which was 200, on a scatter diagram with a lot of data points. Sherry, can you? I think that's loaded, is it not?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you this: if there's a little heartburn going higher than 228 or 250 or whatever, NASRA will give you more heartburn.
I've got it loaded here because Bill sent it around this morning. Sherry, if you can let me share, I can put it up.
I just sent that to you, Betty. Made you a co-host.
And let me get the right one. Is this what you wanted, Dave?
Yes. So there's 85 systems here. I think we also have an ability to look at it by size. There's a scatter diagram, but 284 is the 285 is the median. Board approved and 200 legislative approved. There we go.
Is this the scatter diagram you wanted?
Yeah, our backup one. There's a grid. Okay, go down slowly. Well, maybe further. That is a scatter diagram, however. There's a grid that breaks it into 4 asset size categories. It's actually numbers, Sherry. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Sorry. I think I'm right on it, but continue on just a little bit more and see if we can't find it. Here we go. There we go. There's the grid.
All right. You want this one, not this one?
Either this, the second one. Let's look at the first one. The first one was by assets, and so 24 billion to 51. There's the range. The median's 186. Actually, it doesn't give so much heartburn, does it?
Not at all. I mean, what I saw when I was looking at these reports was that we're fairly competitive where we're sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is assistant director, COO. Never mind, wrong position.
Okay, let me back up.
No wonder. Go back to the beginning. All right. There is.
Here we go.
There is there is the executive director, 234. So that's not doing so much heartburn either, but it's above. And then if you drop down, they did a peer group.
That's for, you know what's odd about that one?
Right there.
Smaller, it looks like the smaller assets under management are making more than the ones, the higher amounts.
There is another survey that has that same anomaly. I'm trying to recall whether this is the. doesn't
Betty,
say-
would you mind sending that graph to all of us? I mean, this.
Not at
particular-
all.
Thanks.
I
All right,
think
these-
Bill sent it to you this morning.
I think we
Yeah.
did. Each of the board
Yeah,
members.
check real quick. I think you've got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is,
did you send me more than one thing this morning, Bill? Because the one I looked at didn't have any attachments. But it's okay. I could have skipped over.
I can do it real quick.
this is a scatter diagram of the people with the same asset, fell in that asset range. Later, there is a 17 system or 16 system peer group, like Indiana, Ohio. And we do that because people always ask, well, what about the neighboring states, Tennessee and all this? And I don't recall what that said.
Anywhere
Well-
else you want to go in this report, David?
Beg pardon?
Anywhere else you want to go in this report, or is this one page?
I was just gonna go to the peers, the 16 or 17 peers, which people ask about, and just see if we can find it. Right there, that's it. There are the peers.
And there's the graph of the peers.
Yeah, 269 median. And that's skewed. There's a correlation between the amount of assets, of course, moving to the right, and the pay going to north.
Well, they're doing it on liability, not assets.
Was that on liability? Okay. Well, that favors somebody who wants to argue that we're a bigger system than the assets would imply.
Betty, scroll down just a little bit. Let me see who all those peer groups are. Okay. I mean, what I would say to this is we also need to take in consideration Frankfurt and the surrounding area is a much cheaper place to live than Columbus, Ohio, or Champaign, Illinois, or
Richmond, Virginia.
Indianapolis. I mean, I just think those are much different environments. And, I just go back to what I said a minute ago. I mean, this job is paying the most it's ever paid, and that number is only 6 months old. I just don't see.
Yeah.
I don't see it going any higher.
I think the subject aspect of it, Keith, I think there's merit to that. I also think you've done the rigor of looking, and you understand that if you're not able to come up with somebody at 210 or 228 or whatever it is, you know what the market looks like.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So there's been two discussions saying commensurate with experience, current salary is 228, I believe, was Lynn's suggestion, and then Betty said to list a range, 200 to 228. Am I summarizing appropriately?
I threw in the words competitive salary, two
Competitive.
sentences. Competitive salary, period, current director is paid such and such.
So does anyone lean toward one or the other?
I think if we had a high number, I would put it out there. And if we have a number that's below what the market is right now, I would say competitive.
Can I add something?
Yes.
I would just keep in mind that if you don't put a range and you have somebody that's going to require 285, you don't want to waste their time or your time.
Good point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, straw man time. Why don't we?
Before you do that, Laurie, can you comment on? I think we've got 2 or 3 different suggestions. Can you just give us your thoughts on plus and minuses on the 3 areas?
Yeah, I mean, I personally would recommend a range just because of the comment that I just made. I personally would go lower than what Mr. Eager is and a little higher, which is what Betty had mentioned, but I would put a range just because there are going to be folks that are not going to come for
Okay.
less than a certain amount.
What's your evaluation of competitive salary? The current director is blank. What kind of problems does that cause you?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
That if we had this two statements together, competitive salary, the current director makes 228.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be okay too. That kind of gives the folks that are looking, an idea of what,
What do you see as
kind
the
of
negative on
where
that?
you're at today.
What do you see as the negative on that type of thing?
Just because they could argue competitive. Current director's 228, but one person's definition of competitive is not another.
Yeah. And Keith, were you saying nothing? Just something like competitive salary? What's your view?
No, I think I'm okay with putting actual numbers on this to weed out those people that are trying to, get a salary much higher than we're willing to pay. If you ask me, I mean, 200 to 228 would be great for me. I know there appears to be some comments about going slightly higher than Dave's current salary. I don't really want to do that, but I also don't want to obstruct the entire works. If you just made me king for a day, I'd say 200 to 228.
Okay, Keith, I would move my vote from competitive / 228 to your range.
Betty, any comments?
I like the range option better. I'm not real set on the upper limit of it. I just thought if we went a tad higher that we might have a little more flexibility, but I'm not a hard line on the upper number.
I don't have a vote, but I agree with Betty. Maybe just even if it's 230. So
Yeah, I was thinking 210 to 235. But
I like that range.
That's arbitrary. I'm just.
I'm with Keith. We got a tie vote.
Well, that's fine. Actually, we've narrowed it down to we've all agreed on a range, which is step one.
Yeah.
So now we're deciding on what the range is. So is the 225 non-negotiable? The 228, I mean, for you two?
I don't want to go higher. Let me do something real quick. 228.
I'm just thinking that qualifications could sway us when we get to making a selection. And I don't want to get caught up on a $2,000 to $3,000 difference if we find a candidate that really trips our trigger.
Well, let me clarify the boundaries that we're in with Lori. Just because we say 200 to 228, that influences who applies. But if we get a candidate and as a board want to offer something more than 228, we could do that. Is that correct?
From my perspective, yes, but Vicky's on the call. She's in legal.
Yes, if you wanted to do belts and suspenders, you could put the range and then you could say, subject to negotiations, or something like that. So you could have the range and then leave it open, because what if somebody comes with, 20 years public pension experience, more than Mr. Eager has as executive director, and wants to move here, towards the end of retirement and be in a quieter place. You may want to be the option to be able to offer a bit more than what Mr. Eager is getting, right now. So if you want to do the range, 200 to 228, subject to negotiation and qualifications, then that would allow you guys to have, the opening.
How's
That
that?
puts the midpoint about 214. And a lot of people will look at a midpoint, and so that's a range of only 5% up and down. Laurie, is that a HR okay?
I don't know what is typical, but I mean, that sounds reasonable to me.
Okay.
I'm ready to go for 200 to 228 with the extra wording that was suggested on qualifications and negotiation.
I'm okay with that.
Keith's thinking.
No, that's fine. Honestly, what I was thinking about is if we go 230 because we don't want to exclude somebody that would really want the job, I would make that argument in reverse. If somebody really wants the job, they wouldn't let a couple $1,000s keep them from applying.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I mean, look, this is a high salary job. I understand it may not be what some of these are on these pages, but again, this is Kentucky. $228,000 goes a pretty long way.
Yeah.
So, Lynn, are you okay with
Yeah.
Vicky's suggestion with the I forgot the wording, but commiserate
Subject
of
to negotiation.
experience and negotiations?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But at least it's telling them we're not going to pay 280.
Right.
And if they were smart, they'd come back and watch this video.
Right. Okay, well,
Position.
then we've decided where to put our postings. We've decided on a salary range. So that leaves 6.4, the job ad and position descriptions. Now 6.1 and 6.1 and 6.2 were the bylaws. But I thought we would go to here where we're actually talking about how to put the job ad together, as well as an addendum, which has a great suggestion of kind of an informational brochure for those people that are really interested. So I had an idea to float. I think it would be productive if we had a 2-person work group to work with staff, working with these first drafts that they've come up with, to come up with an ad layout and wording suggestions to bring to us. I think if we go line by line and paragraph by paragraph, we could be here a very long time, and it could be quite confusing if we're skipping back and forth. But in a meeting setting with just a few people, we might be very, very productive in coming back with suggestions. So I wanted to float that idea and see what the group thought.
I'm okay with that. Well, I'm okay with that, but I would like to amend it. That's if one of the 2 couldn't go, that you would ask one of the other 2 to fill in, so that
we keep going.
You don't have, yeah.
Right.
I think the 2 people just satisfies the ability to work together and get things done.
Well, do I have anyone that wants to volunteer to be on that project? Well, if nobody, I will. I'll put the time into it. Is there someone that would join me?
I'll join you, Bill, with the idea that if I can't, because I do have some commitments, that if I can't come, I could call on either Keith or Betty to fill in.
All right. Lori, does that sound productive to you?
I like that idea. Yes.
Okay.
Bill, it might even be good that we meet in person.
That'd be fine, because we can spread pages out and cross out, and yeah, I can see that being very productive.
Frankfurt's halfway between.
Louisville and Lexington.
Yeah.
Fair
Right.
is fair.
And it would be really good for me because my brother's kind of sick, and every time I could come to Frankfurt, I could visit my brother.
Well, great. Multitasking.
To the
Yeah.
extent you needed, if you met in Frankfurt, to the extent you needed Lori, she'll be there. And we got conference rooms all over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good.
Well, if we take
I
that,
have,
yes, Lynn.
I'm not sure if this is going on to the next, but I have a real issue with the flyer. And that is, the flyer has a great picture of the river, but doesn't have the state capitol in it. And I think that's a real selling point. Got a lot of churches, but not the state capitol. So
Good.
think we should find a
Good.
different picture.
Yeah, that's a good point. We have, we just decided this past year to switch the photography. It's always been the capital, and they wanted to do something different. But yeah, easily, I agree with you. Slap it back in there. Unless somebody else doesn't like it.
In board books, I've got the page with the position description, and ideal candidate is not in English.
Yeah,
It's just
Half of the
a
next
placeholder.
page is not in English. I'm glad
Did
I'm
you
not
try-
fun.
Did you try running it through Google Translate?
Well, that's where
You
AI
can't do
comes
that
in,
with
right?
board books, dear.
Lynn, the use of that photo of Frankfurt was because the communications originally started like 2 pages selling living in Frankfurt is wonderful. You got canoes on the streams, and I said I think that goes at the end. I think you get to the job right away. What's the job and what's the systems and how many assets and so forth. So that I think that led them also to put that up there. But we'll switch it.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the selling point of this. And selling point is what I've talked about. I'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, to me, the working in the state capitol is a selling point.
And
Well, if we
for
Go
the
ahead.
committee or for the group working on the materials, I think it is important to mention investments somewhere in here, because we do have a $22 to $25 billion investment portfolio, and while the investment department and the 2 boards do the heavy lifting on that, I think experience in the investment world is kind of key.
Yeah, I think a statement would be good. I think Mary said somebody with actuarial experience, and I would say somebody with knowledge of actuarial
Principles.
processes. Yeah, principles rather than experience. But it's, you know.
Well, to expand this conversation, we ask and receive some input from our fellow board members. And so, the word collaboration showed up in lots of those. So I think we need to make sure that that's included in this description somewhere. We've already talked about the importance of investments. We talked the importance of the administration end of the job previously.
Hey, John.
So do we have some other points that you want to give us as guidance when we're putting this together? Dave, I think I talked over you when you made a comment.
No, I was answering my phone. Sorry.
Okay,
There's Dr. Hackbert has some good points that I think should rise to the top when you're digging through the details.
all right.
We wrote Bill an email that only to Bill, but I said that quite a few years ago, I was on a search committee for a new executive director for the Red Cross in Louisville. And we talked with National Red Cross, and they said, your operation runs like a top. I mean, if there's a fire in 30 minutes, people are on the scene, on and on and on and on. Everything ran really well. But the executive director had been there a long time, never reached out to the community. And they said, you need somebody who just gets out in the community. And make a long story short, we hired the executive director from the United Way. He was outwardly focused. He made a call on the Brown Foundation. They said, nobody's ever called on us in Red Cross. What do you need? And he said, well, we're building a $2 million transportation building. We'd like some funding. And they said, would 500,000 be okay? I mean, the point being, and we were losing money, $500,000 a year. The point being, our financials were not in order, and we didn't have exposure in the community. And we hired this guy, and it proved to be a real wise decision. I said to Bill, I think there are parallels between KPPA and the Red Cross, but now I think that and the operations are I think by and large run really well. But there's some challenges now. We've got succession, we've got a strategic plan, technology is changing, the threats are there. So if you can see my hands, I'm using a balance. I think a balance between operations focus and external focus, legislators, governor's office, media, constituent groups, and so forth. I think we need somebody who has kind of an equal focus, if you will. But when I came in, my focus was largely external.
Good points, Dave. Thanks for sharing.
And Mr. Atkins has some excellent points too in his comments.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
All right, I'm taking notes. Well, I think we may have covered what I was hoping to get through today. So I think, do we have other issues in the material? Yes.
Well, I in the beginning, I said I wanted to talk about what I felt was the amazing recruitment of me. And I've used the word a couple of times, selling. And, you know, we've got three great candidates, internal, we think. And so we've got the bar set pretty high. So if we're going to go over the bar that we've got set pretty high, we have to remember that we're going to sell them as much as they're going to sell themselves. And so on the recruitment that I had, they actually came to me when I was in Kentucky, in Louisville. They came to me rather than me go to them. Then we made, I didn't really think I was interested in going to Texas. And so then they had me go to Texas. And the person that met me at the airport was the police chief's wife. And she drove me around town showing me real estate in town. And then when I got to the office, I was met by the people that were going to work for me. The secretary, the auditors, these guys had met me first. And then I went in and met the other peer positions. At no time did they ever ask me about my qualifications. They were just selling me on why you would fit into this job and why we want you. And that was amazing. And so if we might not get there because again, we've got the bar set pretty high when we look at our internal candidates. But just in case, if you keep that in mind, it just worked really well. That's all.
Thanks. Good points. Then I think our next step is some meeting dates. And so I'm wondering, looking at the calendar, how is next week look for us to work with staff and then possibly meet as this group the week of the 6th, or do you think that's too aggressive?
The week of the 6th, 7th is election day, and we're working the polls. 8th and 9th and 10th, I'm out of town. So, and not even Zoom available on those days. But the 6th, I'm here. Next week, I'm in pretty good shape, pretty available. And Bill, sometime you and I need to get together in Frankfurt. So I don't know if you want to go further than 2 weeks, but that's my schedule.
Well, how does Monday the 13th look for the next group meeting here that we're talking, this group?
Just letting you know, PPW has a special meeting at 10 a.m. that morning. So it would have to be either much earlier or after that.
Ad hoc, the ad hoc reg committee is at 9 o'clock that day.
14th more available?
KRS has
KRS
a board
meeting.
meeting.
What about the afternoon on the 13th? 1 o'clock.
I'm out of pocket on the 13th. I'm in transit from one city to another.
How about afternoon on the, well, wait a minute, Keith, you said 8 o'clock would be okay if we did 8 o'clock on Tuesday the 14th, or I could do the afternoon.
Dave, I've got the ad hoc committee on Wednesday, the 15th in my email. Is that not correct?
No, that is correct.
Is
Okay.
it 15th, Sherry?
It's the 15th at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Which ad hoc committee?
It's the KPPA Ad Hoc Regulation Committee.
Oh, the regulation committee, so I won't have it. Yeah.
What about Bill? What about Thursday, the 16th? That looks open.
I'm okay there, but what about the timing, Laurie?
There's a finance committee meeting that day.
At 2, we can meet in the morning.
Right.
9 o'clock on the 16th?
Works for me.
9 a.m. on the 16th.
And Bill, for you and me,
Yes.
do we need to have had the meetings with Laurie and come up with a final draft job description for that meeting and get it out to everybody in advance?
Well, I think we can try. I mean, I think we can meet next week and see what we can accomplish.
Yeah.
All right. Then we'll have the next KPA search group on Thursday, November 16th at 9 a.m. And that would probably end this meeting, but if I could ask Lori and Lynn, Dave, I don't know, Vicki, if you want to just stay on and we might be able to get something scheduled for next week. Would that be all right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, then. Anybody have anything else related to the documents we sent out today? All right, hearing none, I'll call the meeting closed. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Bill.